Here with all the essential tips we need to keep our gardens thriving through August and beyond is our garden goddess, Shirley. Welcome,
the garden goddess.
Yeah, you know, right now is August. It's a frustrating time for a lot of you at home because it's kind of like those dog days where it's probably the warmest it's going to get in the summer.
It's tricky
and
out
the
there.
garden doesn't actually look all that hot a lot of the times.
No, and it starts with our grass, with the sun beating down and killing our grass.
You don't want to overwater. I mean, obviously, in California especially, we're careful how much water we use. It's tough.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that you can do, and here's a photo of a lawn that probably looks like maybe your lawn.
Yes.
It's kind of patchy. It's got some dry spots.
That looks better than my lawn.
Does it look better? Really, the thing that you can do is just very simple.
What?
Okay.
The watering regimen, guys. Water early in the morning, probably around 5 a.m., 5:30, so that the water will dissipate during the early morning hours. Or do it around 6:37 where it's still some light out so that it can evaporate. You don't want to drench your lawn at night and, you know.
So early morning or early evening?
Or yes, early evening. The other thing is stop, you don't want to fertilize it either right now in the summer because that'll give you some burn spots too.
Yep.
Oh,
so
interesting.
that's very, very important. It's just the watering. And also when you go to mow, it's almost like, you know, when you don't have any hair, if you're bald and you burn your scalp, same thing with your lawn. Do not mow it in the lowest setting. Mow it in the higher setting to give it a little bit.
Especially in the hot months, right?
Yeah. And then it'll thank you in the fall.
I love that. That's very good stuff. Okay, so what are some important do's and don'ts around the garden this time of year?
Let's talk about America's favorite flower, the rose. We've got beautiful rose bushes here, and as you can see, what I'm doing is I am deadheading. I am removing the spent flowers so that I can coax the rose bushes to give us maybe another flush before it starts to cool off. And if you have a short growing season and your cold comes soon, you definitely do not want to do any more fertilizing because when you get all that rampant growth, it's just gonna
right
freeze.
before the cold season. That'd be such a waste.
Give that. And the other thing that's kind of fun is if you have hydrangeas, those are notorious because they need a lot of water. So if
we just lost a bunch of hydrangeas. I gotta be honest.
Did they get toasty?
They got really toasty.
Just like this.
But
they look a lot like that.
Yeah, but you know what? These are beautiful ones. Or in my eye, because I love to dry my Karen.
I'm sorry. It's all beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes,
You're right.
Look at my beautiful well, what I do, because you know, I could either keep watering my hydrangeas or I can coax them and dry them naturally so that some of us who like to do crafting with our dry flowers.
I'm coming
right now, go take some cuttings and go to Cameron's and get some cuttings.
I get it.
Okay, but if you leave them out in the sun, they'll get dried like that even worse and then just burned.
That's right.
So what about our fruits and veggies? Because they can also be affected.
Absolutely. Okay, so tomatoes, let's talk about these as a crop because, again, a lot of us grow them. I've got a photo of my tomato plant that is growing. As you can see, I'm shielding it from the sun. Something very important to understand about tomato plants. Once it's 90 degrees and over, they will not continue to grow. So it doesn't matter if you have a beautiful tomatoes coming in, you're like, ooh, they're getting some size on them.
Shuts right down.
Shut them down. It will shut them down. So you want to cover them. Another thing that you want to do is you want to also get rid of dead weight on your plants. So I have a photo here of my tomato plants in the community garden. They're really tall. They're like 7 feet tall. But not all those stems are full of fruit. Some of them are never going to give me fruit. So I'm going to get rid of them because all they're doing is stealing the energy from those stems that have fruit. So I have an example here. If you can look closely, here, do you see these little yellow flowers? Yeah. Okay, this is going to give me fruit. So yes, you get to stay on this plant. But I'll tell you what's not going to stay on this plant. Here's my main stem. Look closely, folks. Here is a part of the stem, and here's another stem, lateral stem. In this juncture, we have little growth here. Okay, this is going to grow very quickly into a long stem. I'm not going to allow it. I'm going to pinch it off. Look at this, guys. Just pluck it off because what happens is once we allow this to grow, it's going to arrest the development of all of this. So right now, get rid of dead weight.
I love the smell of a tomato plant.
Isn't it? Oh, it's so earthy. It makes you want to cook.
Yes.
And then those of us who have our fruit trees, right now, go grab those apricots, the peaches, the plums, the cherries. And if you're not going to eat them all, you know, we've been going through how to dry your fruit, how to dry your food. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff and store them and just enjoy them.
All kinds of stuff. Make jams and jellies.
That's
I love that.
Right now.
Would you also sort of trim your fruit trees as well, like you talk about for the tomatoes and the roses as well?
Not the same.
You're not the same. You just kind of let them go.
Yeah, that's
we've got lemons, we've got oranges, we've got clementines and avocados
we got
in
all
our
the
house.
goodies.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, we got lots.
Okay, but let's get to our herbs.
These are great. So talk to us about the herbs.
You love this?
Little
Okay.
basil, yeah, that's gorgeous.
Well, it's great. But here's the thing. You look at this basil plant, you go, how pretty.
Yes, but you don't want these.
Yeah, you don't want those flowers.
But they're beautiful.
And the purpose of these flowers is to signal the end of leaf production. And you know what? I want to make some pesto.
Right.
So it's not the end of my leaf production. So what I encourage you to do, so if you want to continue to have more leaves that are succulent, not hard, leathery leaves growing in, you need to remove all the flowers.
But then what you could do with this,
yeah,
but wait a minute, you could put these in a vase in your house because they're so beautiful.
They are, and they're still fragrant.
Yeah, add them to any bouquet.
Yeah.
You know what?
So beautiful.
In nature, there's no waste. You just need to know what to do.
Look how
But
pretty
here's the other thing. If you're the kind of person that wants to save seeds, you know, some of us will cut this off, but some of us will want to keep a plant or two in flower, let this dry out, and once these heads, and this also is a basil plant, once the heads dry out, all you have to do is cut it, shake it, and look at this,
Look at all those gorgeous seeds.
Harvest your own seeds for next year.
I love it. This is so fantastic. Yeah, I love that.
Shirley,
thank you, Shirley.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Man,
For more gardening
lots
tips, you
to
can check
learn.
out hallmarkchannel.com.